general consensus is no, they weren't in favor of executive density.
Not everybody's gonna.
That was the problem. With the planning commission, they said,
But I do need your help.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
where's the profit motive, where you want it? Unless you get it. No, I get that every morning. I think they walk
You ready?
Sure.
Can she hear now? Or you don't even think she can hear?
Nope, we're trying to fix it. I'm lighting up, it says we're good.
Well, see if you can.
Flash? How did
We
you
still
get
got
your box
four.
cleaned out?
It's
That's gonna hurt. From like
just
the river
main
like
connection.
that.
Good on mine.
She can't hear at all?
She just left.
Oh, maybe she can hear, so she turned it off to get back on.
I guess we can get started.
You got forms.
All right, bring the November council meeting to order. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the prayer. Scott Hayden with the Award Church of Christ. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, this is an important time to be thankful, to be reminded of the veterans in your family, and I want to, as a member of the community, be thankful for our city council and those here that have served like me, and I'll brag on that, in the military service. So I want to thank you all for being that and the time that you've given to community and to our country. God gives us a real good sense of what it is that we are to be in this life in a very basic, simple text where he tells us to rejoice always and pray continually and give thanks in all circumstances. And it finishes out with that very idea that this is God's will for you in Jesus Christ. So I just remind you, be thankful for all that's around you, for the things that we take for granted so easily, so quickly. Let's pray. God, we help us with that very thing, that we wouldn't take a thing for granted. The great people that have showed up to be here today and the service they provided and the time that they get a chance to lead and to show their purpose and integrity and the meaningfulness of community. God, help each make the right decisions this day and give each the encouragement that they would indeed, Lord, be community-minded and be mindful of this great country at large, and most importantly of you. So, Lord, help us each in turn to be holy and faithful, and in this season that we would indeed be grateful. God, I ask this blessing in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scott. All right, everyone's here except for Joe Nay. Is she on?
Yeah, she was.
Jan,
She was just.
did you hear yet? Nope. All right, well, she's partially on. All right.
She's in
What-
Germany, so Europe, right?
What's that?
Isn't she in Europe right now? Switzerland?
Spain or something
Spain,
like that.
yeah, so
Riding the bulls or something.
she has a good reason for not being there.
You want to do Title VI also?
Yes, sir. Title VI, as a recipient of federal funds, the City of Aurora offers a voluntary survey to gather statistical data regarding participants and beneficiaries of its federal aid programs and activities. The survey is to gather information about the populations affected by City of Aurora activities. I have these surveys in my office if anyone needs one. Also, we are being live recorded, and you can rewatch these meetings on the City of Aurora YouTube channel.
All right. That was good with the department head updates. Dave, what you got going on?
As usual, thank your neighbors, somewhere around 1,612 calls, about 140 something last month in October. I think the day after the last meeting, we had a guy get out with the Boy Scouts first aid and CPR for the battles. Participated in the Heart House Trunk or Treat, drove around on Halloween, came out some candy. Sent 3 people to mental health first aid class, was presented by Community Fund Health. We did that on October the 23rd. It's a 9-hour course for certification. They paid for that with the grant that they secured for us. So we're excited about that. Then I think about 5 of us participated in the chicken fry, 35 calls. Had a good time. It is a good day.
Yeah, you have been. Anybody Anybody got anything for Dave, EMS? Well, thanks. I know you was up at the chicken fry helping out the guys. We'll get to that after we get Jeff going here. Chief?
You got your road count in front of you, that 48 total runs, 39 in the city limits, 2 in Washington, 2 in Center Township. This is Lawrenceburg, Dillsboro, Marshall, and Rising Sun. Breaks down all the roads there, and also you got the financial report on the chicken fry.
Yep.
Should be after made like $3,000. That was in the contract. Another in that council.
What's that?
Dave Funch used to be an APD officer, and the county officer, he got cancer, and we'll have him show up at the next council meeting and present him with a check. We're donating that.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Sounds good. Had a lot of people come up and volunteer.
Well, we had guys out all night, right fire till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then while we were cleaning up, we had 3 more fire runs, and we didn't get done cleaning up till late. So we had 3 runs, 2 in a row, and 1 right after we got back. So it was a long day.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're doing good. The only thing left to do is our pump testing, and ready for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year.
That's good.
I'd like to give a shout out to Tony Conley for purchasing 75 carryout dinners, so that was a big help.
And we actually did a lot more carryouts than we did eat-ins. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, we did more carryouts.
That's good. They can come in and eat and check everything out.
Everything was smooth.
Yeah, well, good.
And I'd like to say a special thank you to Tom Plackey, who actually coordinated everything, right, Jeff? And so, good job to Tom.
I think we cooked up, was it 2,048 pieces of chicken?
Yep. And we didn't have a lot of food left,
That's good.
right down to the wire.
Had no chicken left.
But, we had very few cans of stuff.
Yeah.
We started out with no supplies, and, you know, you'll see on the breakdown there, we paid for the supplies, and then whatever profit, we're gonna donate it to, Dave Funch.
Good.
Well, I'd like it noted in a minute, I'd like to recognize Scott Hensley, because he told me Saturday when I said I understand the chicken was fantastic, he said that's because I was there.
He did do some supervising.
He
did
took
bring some
a
free-
lot of credit when you gave
Yeah.
him that wide berth. so.
He had 4 or 5 of the Freemasons he brought up. They did the breading and,
I saw you had good crew.
yeah, it was, somebody said Mike Kreider's over there had chicken in both hands. I don't know. Must have been good. So, all right, moving on.
Month of October, we had 138 traffic stops. We arrested 18. We had 27 traffic crashes. 5 of those were injury crashes. 35 cases. We went on 449 runs for service. We drove about 10,319 miles. We averaged about 13 miles a gallon. We had 137 walk-ins downstairs. I expect that number to go down a little bit since we locked everything down a little bit. Officers assisted St. Mary's in their faith procession. They did it on the 22nd. Officer Abner attended the drone operators course, which he passed. We're proud of him. We also assisted it with the Halloween parade, and we had extra patrols out for trick or treat. So everything was smooth. We had no problems at all.
So that gives us 3 guys operating the drones now?
Yep.
Good. Any new progress on the drones? We use them much this last month? Or?
There was a suicidal missing that we actually was able to help out with that a little bit last week. So it's, the leaves are coming off the trees and it's getting colder, so the thermal imaging would be more useful with that sort of search and rescue type of stuff.
Okay.
And you used the drone at Farmers Fair, correct?
Yep, we did during the parade and the fair.
Good.
Mayor, I forgot one thing, if I could.
Yeah.
we're gonna hold the Medal of Valor for one officer and two EMTs that saved the gentleman from the Lakeland Street fire. We're gonna hold it on December 10th, which is a Wednesday night. We're gonna have it up at the firehouse, with the crowd we're having, and, with all the officers and EMTs probably gonna show up and their families. We're gonna have it up there. There'll be media here too, cameras and all that. So with the crowd that we have here, it'd be a little tight. So we're gonna hold that on December 10th at 7 o'clock. So I would invite everybody, if they could, to show up, because it's going to be a special night, and 3 heroes are going to be awarded the Medal of Valor from the state of Indiana for putting their lives on the line. And that's what we all do, all 3 of us do, and all of us. But I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, not to be patting ourselves on the back, but every time we roll out the door or get out of the cruiser, something bad can happen. And that day, something bad happened, but we had some heroes that pulled the gentleman out and saved his life. He's going to be there, so we're inviting him to show up. So I'd like to everybody, if they can show up on December 10th at the firehouse, we'll have chairs and everything set up in the bay. And it'll be a good night and a special night.
Thanks. Anybody got anything for Chief Daugherty or anybody? Nope. Well, we'll move over to Main Street, but I believe Michelle's going to do Main Street.
So I'm part of Main Street. I've been an ex officio member since 2023, and I'm on the organization committee, and I've served on that since April of 2021. For those of you who have not received, that have not turned in your membership or support, make sure you can get those into Nancy. And then if you get a tax deduction for 2025 and you're financially support your city through the Main Street Aurora, who supports special events, public relations, and revitalization of our city. That's what all your money goes to. So we appreciate that. The month of October, volunteers gave 185 volunteer hours. Okra and Indiana Main Street will be making their site visit, and that's this Thursday, November 13th. Everyone on council, the mayor, all of you should have gotten emails about that. And we need you to either let Nancy know, yes, you're coming, or no, you can't make it, either from 10 to 11 or 11 to noon. And so if you can let her know, that way she can plan on how many people are going to be there. For those that did not see, Main Street Aurora and the city were recognized by islands.com. They had a nice article on November 2nd. And part of what it said was, it's all supported by Main Street Aurora, a nonprofit organization that works with the city to keep downtown revitalized and active while preserving its history. And then just a few reminders for everyone. The annual meeting, if you're, you would have gotten an invitation from Nancy for this, is November 20th at 6 o'clock. Let her know if you're coming, or even if you're not coming. That way she can plan on it, because we are going to have some food there, and we don't want to have more than we need or not enough. So, Get Wined and Dine is Friday, November 21st. Small Business Saturday is Saturday, November 29th. And then our Christmas tree lighting and our parade is Sunday, November 30th. If anyone wants to participate in the parade, please get with me and let me know. We'd love to have your business or your organization participate in it. And then after the parade, we'll end it at the tree. We will have the national anthem. I've talked with PG. He's going to have the honor guard there and to present our flags. And 6 o'clock the parade starts. Thank you. And I've talked to Dave already, Jeff, about helping line everybody up. So I appreciate you guys with all your help. And then after the tree lighting, we'll go inside the Lions Club building. We'll have hot cocoa and cookies, and there's some prize giveaways. So we would love to have you all in there, and we will announce the winners. We have judges coming that will judge the parade. So we'll have some, I'm in the process of getting those gifts right now. So we'd love to have you come and be part of that, whether you just come and watch it or to be in it. And then Miracle on Main is the first 3 Saturdays and Sundays in December. And if you have any questions about that, you can stop by and see Nancy, but I believe is it 12, is it 11 to 4? 1 to 4. I always want to say it's earlier. So 1 to 4, and then are the Breakfast with Santas, are they sold out yet?
Oh,
Oh, okay. So you got plenty of time to get your reservation and have breakfast with Santa, so. If you guys have any questions, let us know.
Well, we'll get my tickets for breakfast with Santa. The kids love it. The kids love it. Yeah. I had the pancake breakfast this past weekend. It was pretty good. Anybody got anything with Michelle on Main Street or questions? Good, Jake. Did we get a flyer in the mail this week or this month for the Main Street
Newsletter?
events? Yeah.
It would have been 1st of October.
Okay, it was last month.
Yeah, because it's October,
In my
November.
bill, I don't think I got one.
There you
in
go.
mine. I didn't get one in my bill though this month. I was looking
And the
for it.
bill was turkey gobble.
Yeah, is that what it was, the turkey thing?
Yeah, the gobble gobble.
I was looking forward to getting this, I know what's going on. Nobody tells me anything. All right, let's see. Got Main Street, what else we got going on here? Does that mean it's up to you?
It's up to me. What do I got? Oh, monthly financial report. Really, right now, we've got the budget. It was submitted through Gateway. So far, so good. We've got all those minor adjustments to the line items. I'm going to incorporate those when we put it into the system so that when we put out the appropriation report, you guys will see that. We're heading towards the end of the year, which is the important thing is every year is kind of a silo as far as the way that fund accounting works. You just look at the year, and we kind of close things out. Our last meeting comes kind of early in December 8th. So I've asked department heads to get as many of their bills in that they know about. If we're going to take any money from the 2025 budget that we might spend in early in January or so, I need to have quotes. That's called encumbering the funds. We need to have quotes in order to, be able to do that. If we know that the work just isn't going to be ready. I know one of the things you had done was, of course, I think we already submitted it, was the water softener for this building.
Oh, that was a while back.
Yeah, all of a week ago. And something like that, we'd want to have the quote in so that we, go ahead and he may not get the work done and submit the invoice until January, so we would want to encumber those funds with this year's dollars. But we're not going to have to do that for this one. But that's an example. But we will have closeout. I'm trying to avoid doing a December 30th meeting. That's something that kind of used to happen.
You might be doing it, Benny.
You guys could do it. I don't want to do it for the financial stuff. I know we'll probably have to do one for maybe annexation or something. But as far as doing transfers and stuff, we can usually get that done in January in that meeting and kind of cross our Ts then. So I don't intend to have one for anything from the financial side, but yeah, we probably will for the other. So, but that's all I have on the from a monthly financial report. Did anybody have any questions on the claims? Those went around. You want to call for a motion on the claims?
I can.
Go ahead and do that.
All right. I get a motion to pay the bills.
All motion to pay the bills.
Michelle, second.
I'll second.
Sherry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pay the bills. How about the minutes? Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
I had reviewed them. Keep in mind, there were two sets of meetings minutes in there. I'd make a motion to approve both our regular council and the special council we spent here this previous Wednesday.
It was pretty vague. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Michelle, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So, it looks like annexation, that would be Jared.
Well, cool. Big update. We actually got the Reedy study. I'm not releasing it yet, but very close. I'm gonna look over the numbers, make sure there's no errors or anything else like that. And I know Brad's asked for a copy. I'm gonna go through the email list I have of anybody else that's there and try to get it out to them so they can see what the numbers are. But of course, it's pushed back our initial plans, waiting for this Reedy study to get done. So the final meeting is gonna get advertised next Thursday. That'll be the final hearing as to annexation. And so as I was just telling our great clerk treasurer here, we probably are going to have a meeting sometime late in the year. So I'm looking at possibly having the hearing on the 18th of December And then we will have to have, if we want to pass this annexation this year, it'll have to be done after the 18th. So we're looking, Christmas week is where we're looking. So we can do it the day after, the 19th or something like that, which is a Friday. But I'll talk to council about how we want to handle that. But unfortunately, that's where we're at, just with advertising. The register now, you have to get them a week ahead of time, so I can't fast track it to get it done this week, unfortunately, to advertise. But in any event, like I said, the reading numbers are there. We've got them as of Friday. I'm still reviewing them. So after that's done, we'll get everybody out, we'll report, and so everybody can see it. And of course, I'll be the main attraction at the hearing on the 18th. So.
Anybody got any questions on the annexation while we're here?
Will that study be posted anywhere?
Oh, I'm gonna post all over the place, Debbie.
Like, I mean, on our website?
We could, Austin, could we get that study on the website? The one thing I'm a little nervous about posting on the website, just hear me out, it does have people's property taxes. You know, it's public record, it's just a little bit of, it's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with us doing it, just know that if you're in the annexation area, your name, plus what you pay in taxes are gonna be out there. So, that's my only concern on that. Go ahead, Terry.
When do you think you'll have the Reedy financial study reviewed to
Well,
your satisfaction?
Yeah, I have no work tomorrow because I'm getting ready for a jury trial and stuff, but, so my plan is to look that over.
Nothing but a jury trial.
Nothing but a jury
Okay.
trial. But any event, I want to look over the numbers. Like I said, that's a lot of math, right? And it's easy for them to make an error. So I'm just going to go through there.
For what
Fly
we paid
spec
for
it.
it, I'd like the pencils to be sharp and think that they
Yeah.
actually
And
didn't
so-
just doing that, just eyeballing it. So.
Well, like I said, I've really liked, we got a new guy we're working with. His name is Mickey up at Reedy. He's just been fantastic. So real happy with working with them through this. It did take him longer than he thought to get done with the numbers, but like I said, I'm gonna review it. I've taken a cursory look, but tomorrow I'm gonna go get my calculator out and make sure that all adds up, so. And then, like I said, we'll fly it out.
What was the cost of that study?
I can't tell you right now, I don't know. Expensive, not, I mean,
Oh, yeah, only the one sheet.
yeah, I don't know the exact number.
What time is that meeting on me?
I don't know, we're getting a plan,
Oh,
so
okay.
I haven't even
Okay.
advertised yet. But
Okay.
18th is the date I'm shooting
Okay.
for, because that is the Thursday, that gives me exactly 30 days of advertising.
Okay.
And that's as soon as we can have it. So we could have it after the 18th, but, the mayor, of course, we want to get this done.
Yeah.
And so the 18th is going to be the date, and that gives us a little bit of buffer time that we can schedule a meeting before Santa Claus comes on the 25th. So we'll get that done before Santa Claus.
All right. So they say.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So if all goes well on December 18th, could we have a meeting after?
We could. I would tell you, don't do it, only because it's kind of a rush right after the hearing to go right into it. But you guys, like I said, officially, yes, you can have a meeting right after that hearing, right? We could schedule a special session that
Just
day.
a thought, I wasn't sure.
Well, like I said, we can talk about it if you guys want to do it that way,
Okay.
I did find the initial study for annexation that Reedy did for us it came to just shy of $15,000. Now, I don't know if they're gonna have any more because they had to do a little bit of additional work. And that initial 15,000 was looking at a number of different neighborhoods. In addition to just the 56 neighborhood, we were also looking at Dutch Hollow, going out 148. So there was a couple of different neighborhoods that they were looking at
There
that
were
time.
several. I think that's what Mark had initially.
Yeah, they cast a pretty wide net, so that's why that kind of seems a little high. I'd imagine they're gonna have some.
I think it's going to be sub
Additional.
5K. That's my guess on it, just from talking. But like I said, I don't know what the exact bill is right now.
All right, move to the docks. Austin, you want to handle the docks?
Yeah, so we have 9 docks, as we've discussed. Eric Lang is our current land consultant, and he is trying to figure out all the permitting for putting them at waterways, as well as the North Side Trail, as well as possibly out on the Ohio River. So it all comes down to North Side Trail first. It's a determination of how many of those docks we need to use there. So the initial plan was maybe 4. It's looking like possibly 5 or 6 due to fabrication. So the North Side Trail is basically a trail that connects the two sides of the city. The railroad wouldn't let us go under, through, or above, so we're gonna use the docks to go around. That permitting piece won't take as long as it would for, say, the Ohio River, but there still is a time constraint on it, so once we can get the permitting approved and know that it's an acceptable project and the Next Level Trails approves it, we'll be able to start fabrication and working on those. So if that takes 5 to 6, you've got 3 or 4 docks left. The anticipation was to put 3, maybe 4 on the Ohio with some floating restaurants that have offered to come over and set up there. And then if we have one left after everything's said and done, we're looking at putting one at Waterways Park as a fishing dock. Currently, we're just waiting on the land consultant to get through the permitting so that we can see how it's gonna look further on. Does anyone have any questions on the docks?
Austin, were you ever getting an extension on the North Side Trail Fund?
I got an extension till the end of 2026. As long as construction has begun, we should be good. That was our 3rd extension, so I don't know if we're getting a 4th, so time is of the essence on that.
Melvin?
How wide are the docks?
8 feet.
8 feet?
They're 40 feet long, 8 feet wide.
I've seen them, but I didn't know how big they were.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. I mean, we got them from from Hooters when they went bankrupt, so we kind of benefited on that. So they're only 5, 6 years old, Brett. So we got a good deal on them. We had to pay for them, I think straight up, it'd probably been about $270,000, $300,000 for them. We got them for
What, 35?
a little more than half the price, so, yeah. Got a good deal. Hopefully we can get them go to use. We got 3 boats that's already wanted to come down here once they heard we had the docks and put a riverboat out here with a floating restaurant on it already, so. See what happens. That'd be nice.
I have just a question, just a general question. So it would be really nice to have the dock over at Waterways, and I would love that. But have we ever thought about putting a boat ramp over there to launch where we have the canoe launch? Or has that ever been talked about or discussed?
Brandon was gonna do that. He was gonna put in, as part of Waterways build out, a new canoe and kayak launch over there.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you say.
Brandon had already addressed that when he bought Waterways. That was part of the build out for that business, was they want to put in a new canoe and a new kayak launch.
So the city could make it a public ramp if we wanted to.
That was his intention. I mean, it would be part of the marina, but that was part of what he had initially wanted to do. So at that point in time, there was still a lot of conversation about whether Waterways Park in its entirety would be used in conjunction with that. So it'd probably be a good Brandon question to see if he still intended to follow through with that. But he's been pretty community-minded ever since the business got up and running. I think he'd probably have a better answer than I can give. I just know it was discussed, so.
But you think it's viable?
I think it was discussed. You'd have to ask Brandon if that's still something he was interested in pursuing, so.
Who's taking over the salary ordinance?
I can do this one. So my apologies on old business. This should be the 2025 salary ordinance. This is an
Gotcha.
update to our current working ordinance for this year. You'll see it's the one with city manager highlighted. The only changes you'll see are directly related to me and my position, so that I can be paid properly for the rest of the year, because it still has me under the old pay structure. I would look for a unanimous vote to get this approved on first reading, so that I can be paid correctly for the rest of the year, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't know about everyone else. I mean, I know we had discussed it, and, just the transition from your change in, not so much necessarily just role, but the scope of it, and how much time that you're going to be allocating to the city. I would make a motion to pass this upon its introduction here, so we can amend the 2024 salary ordinance, or if that's 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Could I get at least one copy signed
Yes.
and passed around, and then I can get everything,
We'll start it down here.
yes,
I have it
please.
here
Yeah,
for
let's do that.
Jonah hear us yet?
She's listening on YouTube. Teams is having server issues. It keeps kicking us and bringing us back.
All right, then we got the, you guys got everything together?
Almost.
Okay, well, I'll wait a second.
Yeah, once they sign it, then that'll be good. We'll be able to get him properly compensated for the remainder of this
That says
year.
24 on it, is that right? It says
We kinda hit
November
it.
24, do you see that at the bottom?
Yeah, I'll fix that.
Just cross it and it'd be fine.
Aye.
Thank you, Judith.
Aye. All righty, elected officials salary ordinance.
So next is the elected official salary ordinance. We haven't touched this, to my knowledge, since 2017. That's why you'll see a lot of edits on there.
Did you hear me?
Yes. So you'll see a lot of edits on the elected official salary ordinance. That is because it had council and mayor and everything else from 2017. You'll see a change to the council persons per year amount as well. That is because it said only 4,000, which is outdated. You'll see clerk treasurer as well, which was also outdated salary. And then you'll see the line for mayor, as we had discussed, with health insurance by switching it to a full-time position with no other changes. So this will be a first reading effective 2026, just like the next one we're going to do. So opening to any discussion on this.
What are we even talking about here, the full-time mayor, what are we talking about?
Instead of having a city manager and a full-time city manager, we're just going to a part-time administrative assistant. And then I'm here all the time anyway, so I'm just gonna move my position to a full-time position. It's not gonna pay any more, same pay, but that move will save us $42,000, I think. Instead of hiring another city manager, and then they're here another year or two, and then they wanna leave, and then we're starting all over again.
So then, but he's gonna be an assistant?
Yeah, part-time.
Okay. What, you work the salary out for that already, or?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we just voted on before this.
Well, I didn't know anything about it, I didn't.
That's okay.
Catch up.
That's okay. That's what you did.
Well, we like seeing you, keep coming.
I like to know them things.
Absolutely. We appreciate that.
That's my tax dollar.
Absolutely, we appreciate that. Do you need a motion, or? I'd like to make.
I think tonight's
First reading.
introduction
It's
is
just
just
a
the first
reading.
presentation
Oh,
for
at the
both
end
of
it
these.
says-
We'll be able to do it, we'll be able to do it at the December meeting and be fine. Both of the salary, as long as they're in place before the new year begins. So it was kind of an opportunity for us just to kind of get these presented, hash them out, discuss it as you wish, and then, next meeting, as long as there's no changes, I think Austin would just go ahead and have these incorporated. We'd have them presented at the December 8th meeting and then pass at that time.
Budget resolutions, Austin doing that in two, or who's handling the budget resolutions?
So budget resolution, that'll be me, I'll talk about it. So we had a public meeting last Wednesday, discussed a bunch of certain controls council wants to put on some of these accounts. And so we don't have the resolution ready yet. I was talking to Michelle just recently that I want to sit down with members of council, kind of get some people's thoughts and ideas about these. I think there might be some differing opinions on some of these. So
Are we still hashing out 2026? Those things that they discussed at the November?
we're going to try to get something, prepared for the December meeting, a resolution based on comments and considerations made by council. What happened, Benny, is I was taking a whole bunch of notes, and I looked at it, I said, I don't have enough here to put a resolution. Do you have something?
I've got the spreadsheet that I used, and it shows like what we had whatever, oh gosh, I'm gonna get all the dates wrong. The October 27th meeting, and then the November 5th meeting. And it has them side by side, and it kind of went down. We went down the list on there was a half dozen different
That would
line
be
items.
helpful.
That would be
I'll present
extremely
that.
helpful. so
And I think
appreciate
if you have something like that, you can do, you put in all the whereases, and then you.
But whereas it out to
Here's
Wazoo
the
and
line, we could just probably
copy and
plug
paste it.
yeah, plug that thing in. So
Okay.
I'll send that over to you.
I appreciate it. And then I'll put the fancy whereases in, and we'll get it out to council. and we
Because
can
the
look at it in
December 8th meeting is the last chance we have to do that to make this.
Well, like I said, with the annexation, we probably have a second
Oh.
bite at the apple
Okay.
if we had to. So we are gonna have a third meeting, I guess.
Well, and keep in mind too, I mean, this is kind of some housekeeping matters. This was an attempt to try to condense a lot of appropriation work that, if we can alleviate it now, by the end of the year, that'd be great. But Jared, go ahead and clean it up. That's not to say that there will not be, there will be times throughout 2026, we're going to have to make some changes.
Absolutely.
But this was in hopes of not having to do one every other week.
Yeah.
So it seemed like that meeting went with probably a pretty clean spreadsheet on Benny's desk, that there was a lot of consent to the few things we wanted cleaned up that were major concerns or major topics of interest. So that should be helpful to give that to the city attorney, Benny, so we would. Evidently, he's not a very good note taker. Give him the spreadsheet.
I was not a good note taker on that one.
There was a lot of moving parts that night.
Yes, there were.
I would not wish that upon anybody, so.
Yes, there were.
So Mayor, I had combined the two salary ordinance under old business. So we do have the other one to look at, which is the 2026 salary ordinance, which you'll see the highlights are mainly related to the deputy clerk treasurer position. This again will be a first reading, and the question marks on it are different things that council needs to come to a conclusion on, so that we can also have this prepared at the December meeting.
All right. Alrighty. Well, moving on to our favorite subject, the Woodlawn Development.
Mayor, do we want to do, there's question marks all over this. So given this is a first reading, we need to determine these things so that you guys can vote on it in December.
Yeah, I thought this will be just dead. so it's done.
No,
Well,
this
He's
is-
saying we need to have some discussion.
We discussed
Oh, okay.
yours.
You're gonna just,
But-
go ahead.
but as
I
far
thought
as-
you already had that taken care of.
We've done 25 for me, we've done 26 for all the elected positions. Now we need to do 26 salary ordinance.
All right, so is the part-time question mark highlighted because we have to just be specific what part-time hours look like? Is that what
It's
that's-
highlighted because under that is non-exempt or exempt, which basically is hourly or salary.
Gotcha.
Non-exempt. Non-exempt means
Basically, do you want hourly or salary?
hourly. I vote for hourly.
Well, I think that really needs to be a high water mark that is approved within the salary ordinance, and if it's going to be a position underneath Benny's department, that should be at his discretion as to how it's filled and how that person operates. They answer to
I
him.
disagree because we are council and we make the job description and we're
And
putting
you
it
just
together.
turned around and said the exact opposite for the administrative assistant for the mayor. So I think it's important that the department head in that case, Pat and Austin know exactly what they want to do to work in concert together. I think the same should be the same for Benny and his helper. I mean, that's a difficult
I
position for
disagree.
anybody to do. You can disagree, and that's fine. But I think what you're really looking to do is not tell any department head how to run their department. You're looking to budget for what you're willing to give them to operate it.
I'm looking at, we as city council represent the people and that we should make that judgment for that position, for the positions in the city.
One thing I'll say, though, I mean, you said that you create the job description. And unfortunately, that's not true. I mean, there is a job description written by the state constitution that says, hey, this is the stuff you gotta do. Now, as far as expectations and things, that is fine, but
The pay?
you can set the pay rate.
We determine the pay?
You do set the rate.
And do we determine if they're exempt or non-exempt?
Yes, you can,
Okay,
but you don't,
that-
you know, a
that's all
job
I-
description does not.
That's all I wanted to do, was say non-exempt and determine the pay. That's all I
And
wanted.
that's fine. So what would, we have an employee that's in this role currently. You've made this decision, more than clear that this is not going to be a full-time position in 2026. So what is that position going to look like in 2026? What does the clerk treasurer have to staff his department for that year?
So when we say part-time salary, we wouldn't set a limit on hours, but it would be set on pay. But if we said hourly, we're saying, you know, whatever Benny deems in that range to pay him per hour, and then we set a limit on hours?
Well,
If I may, Benny, realistically, you're gonna run into the exact same issue with me.
It's
If you
gonna be
make it
hard.
hourly,
Uh-huh.
at 20 hours, Benny has to say no more work for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Unless you're approving overtime, but you can't, because then you'd have to raise the appropriation. We know that Benny has a lot to do in that department. We probably can understand that Warren is going to work more than 20 hours trying to help Benny keep up. If you make him hourly, at 20 hours, Benny's on his own. And when things aren't getting done, we can't really blame Benny. It's the same as my position. You made me salary knowing I'm not gonna be here 20 hours a week. Last week was my first week, it was 32 and a half. You got that 12 and a half hours virtually for free if you look at it like that. If you expect Warren to do the same thing for Benny, it seems only reasonable that his salary, get the job done, end of story.
I think that sounds very familiar to how this conversation started, that the proof is in the pudding when the job is completed and it's done satisfactorily. Austin, you just hit the nail on the head, so, thank you.
I think that we should keep it non-exempt hourly, and if we're finding that the 24 hours a week is not covering it, then we need to add a second part-timer.
So is the
Which-
part-time
So,
gonna be 20
okay.
20 hours or 24 hours?
No, 100 people.
Part-time's basically 24 hours, isn't it? 3 8-hour days.
I mean, it's however you want to slice it, you know, you take somebody, you know.
Yeah.
We've
I say it
had,
depends, sometimes part-time is up to 32 hours.
yeah, you can go up to, yeah,
You can go up,
you know, 30.
yeah.
Um,
Is this all gonna be hashed out?
Well, we know, I mean,
We can table it, but we gotta get it done by time.
I did not bring us to this decision in this discussion, so I would have thought that there would be some thought that, and some guidance that I could have. I will say that I have needs in the department. I sat down in this meeting and Terry Hahn said, what was this $8,000 bill for this thing? And I said, I have no idea. That's, you know, I can't know each one of those line items. You know, we were able to figure it out, I think. We feel fairly confident about it. But there are things, you know, I mean, you know, talking to Orrin just last Friday, you know, he said, you know, we got the claims, the final claims in there that you guys have, got those printed, and he said, hey, I've got to make sure to file all the various things for payroll, because it was payroll week last week. We got to get the impress in, you know, and he was rattling off a couple of other things, and I said, it's good that he's here to know how to do these things, because I don't. If we get to a Friday and you guys say, well, he gets capped at 20 or 24 or whatever hours, and that stuff sits, you know, and that's the danger that you run into. I do like the idea of an exempt, a stipend kind of deal, if only because then it's, you know what you're paying. It's set. We've had other employees in similar arrangements throughout the years. One of the other things that I think about is that his position Right now, he's been contributing to INPRIS, the retirement plan for employees of the state. In Indiana, it's a pretty high bar to get vested in that. You have to be 10 years. He's sitting at 8.5 years, give or take. I would hope that we could maintain and make this position eligible for that, so that he can continue to contribute.
Do part-timers usually get that benefit?
It has happened in the past. We have consistently done that. My, Linda Hughes, if you remember her, she had been here for, she had been here for 11 years, I think, when she decided she wanted to go part-time. And we actually, we worked it out with the state, and they said, yes, if it says in the ordinance that she's able to do that, she can continue to participate, even in a part-time capacity. We haven't done that. We don't necessarily make it eligible for every part-timer. It's usually if you're in a full-time role and you're already contributing and you switch to a part-time, we usually maintain that. So, I mean, those are the things I would, it's really, what does it look like as far as the compensation? How do you guys want to handle it? And then that retirement piece. I think it's understood that, the full-time health insurance, is not something that you guys wanted, but, these are the kinds of, questions that, come up when you're trying to build the ordinance for next year and how this employee will be compensated.
And just, Pam, I want to jump off Benny's statement on there. The state of Indiana considers completely arbitrary the designation of part-time or full-time. So it's your exempt or non-exempt status is what controls. So whether he's part-time, full-time, however you want to say it, that's just Aurora coming up with that term, not the state of Indiana. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So are we hashing these things out now, or are we just
We could
doing
probably
a reading? Or what
Let's
are we
just do a
doing?
reading and kick it till next meeting, probably.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Can I ask a question, Benny?
Sure.
What did we do when he went part-time last time? When he went part-time
Those,
before?
those times when he moved to part-time, and it was pretty temporary, I mean, heck, I think it was barely 2 weeks. His health insurance was turned off, his contributions had.
To retirement?
I think we had paused them during that time.
So he didn't get retirement benefits during his part-time before?
No contributions were made, no.
Okay.
I don't think so. So. And that's going off my limited knowledge of how INPRIS works.
I would say while we're talking about tonight, if this helps clean it up so we can go ahead and move forward with it in December, based on the comments I heard at the last meeting discussing this, that there was a high water mark of $35,000, that it would make more sense to make this a salaried position at the clerk treasurer's discretion as to, because I hope it's Orrin that agrees to perform these functions. He already is more than capable and familiar with it, but if it's not him, maybe Betty doesn't want to pay that much. But nonetheless, if it is Orrin, somebody who's been here 8.5 years, it'd be nice to go ahead and kind of segue him into assisting the city on a part-time basis where he's still eligible to continue his PERF contributions toward his vesting period of 10 years. That would be my thought and my preference for this. So we can just get it, as I said, cleaned up and move forward with the salary ordinance in December.
We just do that as a
Just
reading?
just do it as first reading, we'll do it second reading in December.
Okay. It's first reading, second in December, and move on. Give everyone time to go over it and think about what you want to do. So, are you doing the Woodlawn development?
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to the Woodlawn development, and so one thing I just wanted everybody to hear is what the procedure is on this. It's kind of something new I have never seen, but basically what we've had is Woodlawn was rejected by planning and zoning pursuant to Indiana statute 36-7-4-608, Part G. Council can actually override planning and zoning's recommendation because we are an advisory city. So basically, we've already had a first reading on this last month. This would be the second and final reading to make a decision on this. But if the council decides to approve this planning zoning ordinance, thank you, I'll get it out there. If council approves it, it is law, so this will pass tonight if it goes. So let's go to the Woodlawn ordinance itself. It's going to be ordinance 2025-19, and I'm going to skip the whereases and go right to the meat of it. Let me see where I got there. There it is. And so what this is this is the Woodlawn District. This is property belonging to Emmert Leffler. And basically, we have 3 parcels stated there. It's about plus or minus 8.26 acres that's currently zoned as a one-family residential zoning district and is going to be rezoned upon a positive vote of council to a planned unit development. And the rezone of this real estate to a planned unit development shall be in accordance with the proffered subdivision plat submitted by the applicant, Emmert Leffler, and shall comply with the requirements and recommendations made by the City of Aurora staff contained in its report dated and submitted to the City of Aurora Plan Commission on September 15th, 2025, both of which are hereby incorporated by reference and made a part of this ordinance. So what I handed you before the meeting is Nicole, I was going to call her Nicole Kidman, she'd love that, Nicole Daly's statement as to what her recommendations are. So there's certain curtails she puts on these PUDs. And just so council knows, a PUD basically takes it out of our normal zoning code completely. So it's not it's not an R1, it's not an R2, it's not agriculture. It is a PUD, and the PUD is controlled by the very rules that we have adopted pursuant to our planning and zoning consultant, Nicole Daly. So with that, I will leave it to council to discuss or to take comments or do whatever you want on this one. So take it away, y'all. Any questions or anything like that?
The only things I'd want to add to it, and I'll just do it now, 3 things stuck out to me in reviewing how this process has went. First off, I should say thank you to both Emmert, the developers, they came in. The second meeting with the Planning Commission where there were plans in front of everybody, it seemed like the following meeting things had been answered. There were good responses to good questions. The Planning Commission did a good job going through this. They have a pretty thankless job in a lot of cases. They're not there to be a cheerleader. They're not there to rain on anybody's parade. They're just there to make sure that we're following things that we say, this is what the city accepts, and for them to then get deeper into the grass, particularly when you're looking at this being a PUD where you can move some lines around. Having gone through each of those public hearings, the 3 things that stuck out to me, one, still the traffic concerns. You know, there was a traffic study that cited. Todd Listerman with the county had said, well, it's within 150 foot of state highway, that's fine. We have a lot of traffic that doesn't like the state highway. They like Woodlawn and Billingsley. So more cars on that road do create more aggravation. The second thing is, you know, the Planning Commission's recommendation. Again, they did the work, and it seemed like there was good conversation going back and forth with this, and with their non-favorable recommendation, it was just, okay, that's done. Let's let the council then become the Planning Commission. They can make that decision. And the third thing is that while we know we need to get growth within our city limits for our assessed valuation, we all like to think about increased property tax revenue. Certainly now's the time in the state's history that we could certainly use that help. There's already a layover residential TIF to go into place to where the city's general budget's not going to see a great deal of benefit out of this for the next 15 to 20 years, if that's the case. There's some advantages to the TIF that assist the project get up off the ground, get going, the redevelopment, as things kind of trickle in from the property tax revenue that does fall back to the city. That's not a terrible thing by any means, but it's not the answer to just say, well, we need the development, so yes, do it. Those are my thoughts. I know the TIF hasn't been filed yet, but yeah, that's a concern. You know, Aurora's got kind of TIF happy right now. with our sandbox, it's not getting any bigger, but we're playing capture the flag in every corner of it we can to say TIF this, TIF that, TIF everything. TIF is a great tool to promote development. It's not a magic bullet. So it just depends on the need, the urgency to help create development or steer it in a direction. This sounds like it's a development pretty well thought out. A lot of time's been put into it, where I don't know that that's a carrot you definitely have to dangle, but again, those are my thoughts on it.
Take a vote on it, or?
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rezone to PUD, according with the restrictions that planning asked for and the developer brought back with, which I know Nicole has noted in her.
All right, so we got a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Joe Nay, can you hear us?
Yeah, I.
It's 3.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We heard you. Nay. For the reasons I said, I'm voting no.
Opposed? 2 nays, 3. Ayes have it.
That's all. So, does somebody have I don't have a copy. I think I gave them to Laura. Do we have a copy down there? Can you put your name and sign that and pass it around, please?
So public didn't get any comment before the vote, why is that? I'm just curious procedurally.
The public that, I mean, procedurally, if the mayor wants the public to comment, he can call for comment.
Okay, no, that explains it, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking some. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. Okay, it's unpopular.
So that means if we're not happy with whatever, then people just, if they really don't like it, they have to just move out of the area?
You don't have to move. I mean, you could.
Yes, we actually do, because you guys are, we're happy with the way, I've driven up to Sunland, which doesn't have as much, and they have houses nice houses up there. We're trying to cram in a bunch of houses in a small area. Have a bigger traffic problem. I mean, I take pride in where I live. No, I don't have an expensive house and that, but I take pride in what I have and what I do. I take pride in being part of the community. And I would expect our council to listen to the residents, the people who live right there. But they don't care because they don't live there.
Okay, I will speak for council. I was at every planning meeting because I take the notes for the minute, I'm the minute taker, I'm the secretary for that. And we did listen to your concerns, and that's why planning commission had all those restrictions that they came back, was because of the concerns that you guys addressed. And that was the majority of where those things came from. They wanted to make sure, and the developer came back and met all of them except a couple of setbacks. So they were trying to take into concerns what you guys were saying.
I guess we're gonna both agree to disagree, because I don't feel like our voice was heard. I mean, I'm curious, I probably will start looking for another place, because I took pride in living in an area that, you know, had aligned with my values. But obviously, you know, our council doesn't care here.
Can I just say, and you've been at, well, I understand that. You know, when a lot of our neighbors were making their thoughts known to this, you know, I kind of kept my comments to myself, because, you know, also sitting up here, you want to be fair to the folks that are trying to move forward on a business opportunity. I wanted to hear everything that was being said. This is literally in my backyard. So if anybody says, well, God, this is going to be terrible, I'll be the first to tell you if it is. I think, as I was saying, the developers did come back with an answer to everything, with the exception of some distances between wall-to-wall, exterior walls on certain parcels. But they also, and I've mentioned this to other neighbors up there, had a concentrated effort to keep this development more toward the center of the property and observe the natural tree line boundaries. Kind of the topography lends itself to sensible building up there, as well as keeping it kind of unto its own. I took that as, well, I'm probably going to be outvoted on this regardless, so at least they have had a sense of wanting to not disrupt the existing neighborhood up there, which is largely owner-occupant and is very mature. It's been there forever. If you look at the Woodlawn stretch, you look at the triangle, back Benny Street. The concerns that I mentioned earlier were thoughts that I had that were not about, I don't want it in my backyard. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of trying to be fair. What do I see as some real sticking points? That's where I'm at. But I understand you're upset. I wish I could do something other than just try to explain that at least the development as proposed is kind of concentrated back toward the center area of that 8-point fill-in-the-blank acres.
I just know that when I go to vote again, when it comes, because we do vote on council people, and I know who not to vote back in.
You get to vote on everybody that's up here. Absolutely.
That's if I'm still living in this area.
I hope you are.
Because obviously, if the people who live in there, it's frustrating. I can't hardly say.
Obviously, I share your concerns.
I'm disappointed.
So am I. I got outvoted.
Any more public comment?
Just got a question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, so as soon as you come off 148, I'm sorry, to turn on Woodlawn, what is it, like the second house or something on the left is where it's gonna be, is that right there?
Like it's in
Yeah.
between the second and first house, there's a lot there, it goes back in there.
So coming out of there, is there gonna be a stop sign? Is there gonna be a stop sign?
Well, there'd be a stop coming out of that development. We had people that had said, well, maybe you put a three-way stop, and I thought that's exactly what we need with 150 foot of roadway before you get to Sunny. That's not gonna happen, but, those people getting out are gonna have to, I'm sure they're gonna have some self-preservation in mind, that they don't wanna just jump right out there. My neighbor Larry's sitting right there behind you. Larry and I can wave each other down the street while we're waiting to try to back out of our driveway as it is now.
Get out of your driveway sometimes. You sit and wait.
And if Larry gets out of his driveway first, he pulls in my driveway to let me know how mad he is. He had to wait to get out. So, I don't have a magic wand. We discussed some traffic control on that road that more than half of our neighbors did not want any part of up there.
How many houses are you talking?
30. We have tried with traffic. We put some signs up, keep the big trucks off there and everything. I think
That's made a little bit of a difference. I'm happy about that.
But I still see trucks going down there when there's a sign that says not to.
And
I know you can't stop that.
Right. Well, I stop people on the road and say, you're not supposed to be here, and by that time, they're already there, so they have to do something. So, the traffic's everywhere. That part of it's not going away. There's always going to be growth somewhere, and that's going to bleed over in traffic to some degree wherever we live. That road is just unique because it tethers two state highways together. And putting more traffic on it, the results should be obvious to everybody.
There's no one else, look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.